Welcome to a Friday Reads, where I talk about what I read, what I'm reading, what I hope to get to next, and it's been a very good week. I am recovering nicely. Enjoying some nice relaxing time. I'm being productive in ways I want to be productive. I've read some really good things this week, so I'm really excited to share that with you. So let's just get into the books first, and if you stay till the end, I'll talk about how great it was meeting N.K. Jemisin yesterday, because that was amazing. So first, I have finished Cytonic. I liked it. I definitely liked it enough that I got the fourth book on Audible, so I will be consuming this in the nearish future, the fourth book. I don't know how near future, I'm not itching to, but before the end of the year, I will finish this series and I guess do a should you reads for it. I've taken 7 million years to read this series. I do not know when Skyward came out. This book came out in 2021. Oh, it has a little map. I didn't know it had a little map. Look at that. Anyways, so I read this. I liked it more than the average person, apparently. Still not my favorite thing. I will say, I think you could take it as cringe. I think you could take it as cute. I took it as cute. This is a far, 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 far future from our Earth. And that means some of our popular story canons are here, but incorrect. And there was a moment of that with The Lion King. And I thought it was funny. So yeah, I've been talking about that for weeks. I finished it. My thoughts only improved, didn't change. I think Spensa had to make some interesting decisions, and her growth has been really good for me. I also read and finished Arbor Reality, because I have book club tonight, and yeah, I love this just as much as my first read. I took it slower this time. My first read of this, I read this in one day. I mean, it's incredibly short. And this time, I already knew it was interconnected, and had vague ideas of where that interconnectivity would occur. But what I chose to do, and I'm really glad I've been doing this habit lately, because it's not been super hot here, but it has been in the low 60s. And so I've been purposefully going outside and just sitting on my front steps or sitting on my back patio. And I would read a bit of this while I was outside. And that was really helpful to me, because I picked this up even while I was still grading, because grading just sucks the soul out of me when I have to do it all at once, which is what I had to do because I had 8 million classes this semester, and finals week just happens at the same time. Other times I can stagger it, So this was really great, really rejuvenating. May or may not be part of why I keep planting so many things in my yard this year, and why I'm one tree or two trees in the backyard. Probably just one. I still don't know what type. I'm going to spend forever trying to pick that out. Other plants, it's if I don't like it, I can just get rid of it. A tree, it's it takes a long time to get a mature tree. So, definitely been planning on a lot of natives. If you have not read this novella, bare minimum, it's stunning, right? Just go get it. Just go get it to look at it. I am curious how it will be perceived at book club, but having reread it, I'm well, I could see someone's opinion not liking it as much as me, but it's a good book. It is a well-crafted piece. It gets in, it gets out, it does what it wants to do. And I think it does it with nuance and grace. There's a lot of resilience. There's a lot of loss. There's a lot of interesting moral ambiguities. And I really enjoy this. Now, what I wasn't anticipating is I have read and finished Never Home Alone since we've last talked. I hadn't started this when we last chatted. I was finishing up Cytonic as my audiobook. I have not had to go to work. I just was so enthralled by this nonfiction that I just kept finding moments to listen to it while I was crocheting, while I was driving places. I did more yard work, this is another reason why I've been planting more native plants in my yard. Also there's a amazing nursery in Northeast Ohio near the Cleveland area called Meadow City Nursery, and my friend showed it to me, and it's just so cool how it's set up, and everything's native, and it's just it's $6.50 a plant. Every plant. It's so easy. And you can just browse, and they tell you what conditions they like. They tell you how tall they get. They tell you what it attracts. It's just so fun. So I have added them to several parts of my yard. This is my first year where I'm not just maintaining, where I'm attempting to grow stuff. And I think I've now, middle of May, everything is in the ground and can start establishing while we still got rain before it gets hot at the end of June, because that is how it is here. But Never Home Alone is not about plants, although it does talk about biodiversity, and biodiversity, plants are the food source for most things we interact with. And so having diverse native plant life can lead to great biodiversity on a microorganism level, and there are a lot of benefits to that. And so I teach microbiology, and it was so gratifying reading this and being like, okay, so the things I'm teaching my students make sense. Like, it makes sense. It would make this book, I think, really hit more for someone with a microbiology background like it did for me, but it's also still, like, not so in the trenches of detail that someone can't be engaged with it. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And it was one of the few nonfiction books I've ever read where it kind of like, it read a lot like a podcast. Like, I like to listen to a lot of science podcasts. So each chapter was like a podcast episode for me. And at the end of each chapter, it'd be like, it would introduce the topic for the next chapter. And then I suddenly just like instantly, like, it was a page turner. I wanted to get to the next chapter. It's like, well, I want to hear about these cockroaches. And a lot of it makes a lot of sense. I'm now I've never been a sourdough person. Maybe I'll become a sourdough person now because, like, I'm really interested in that part of the story. There are things that are a little, like, not great, like learning that basically all drywall is a ticking time bomb if it gets wet. Not amazing, considering in the United States, all houses are essentially built with drywall. What's happening with shower heads because of how we purify our water. Not great. But also, it is just, like, really interesting how our relationship to microorganisms will probably naturally evolve through necessity. It's just very cool. So I geeked out a lot over this. Thank you, Laura, for recommending it to me. She's in my Discord and my Patreon, and she was bringing it up as one of her best reads of the year, and it was easily one of my best reads, and another reason why doing Herked has been so fun for me, because I wouldn't have picked this up otherwise. It was my last nonfiction book for the nonfiction square, and I needed a science nonfiction. Otherwise, I would not have read this otherwise, and this was easily the highlight of my week of reading. Like, it was so fun for me. So yeah. And then my current reads, I've got a handful of current reads going on right now. My physical read, look at her, she's so pretty. The Last Contract of Asako, and Hexagon Books got new bookmarks, and look at this little fox. Look at this little fox, this little friend. He's just right there. Oh, it makes me so happy. I'm about halfway through. This is, like, very action-packed. So if you like plot-forward books, I think you're going to have a lot of fun. I do really like the world building. I am very engaged with what's happening. I think any other author with this type of plot-driven story, it's not landing for me and who I am as a reader. But there's a lot of sword scenes type things. There's a lot of, like, scenes I could visualize in a movie being like, oh no, and now they have to go here. It has done this thing where I'm reading it and I'm like, it's weird, I have so many pages left. And so now I'm dealing with yeah, we have so many pages left. So I'll leave it at that, but it's like, I enjoy when a story does that. I feel like it's just such a good, entertaining book that's not also just surface level. Like, I feel like we haven't had a lot of quality mid-weight sci-fi fantasy books lately that are just, like, not just entertaining, but also have some meat on their bones. And I think this is, like, definitely threading that needle. It's not just, like, a big thinker, but it is a well-built world with things to say with a very engaging plot on top of it. So yeah, I like Asako a lot. I love Fonda Lee's writing a lot. Oh, also, I just really like, it's a white naked hardcover. So I'm just, I really love it. So, yep. And Orbit's finally releasing more hardcovers, which brings me a little bit of joy because I like hardcover books. I know, I'm a weirdo, but I like them. And now, what am I also reading? I've started There Is No Anti-Nemetics Division. Is that how you say it? I don't know. I started reading this because one of my friends is reading it, and I like reading books with my friends, which is going to be a theme as we get towards the end of this video. I've only read the first couple chapters, and I only roughly sort of know how this book came together. I think it was more serialized, and then kind of has a cohesive connectivity to it, so I'm excited about that. It's very entertaining. I've not read enough to have deeper thoughts than that. And the idea is, like, this division deals with unknowns that are, in their nature, hard to observe or impossible to observe or unmemorable. There's a lot of memory play so far. Makes a lot of fun, unreliable narrator things going on, I would hesitate to recommend the audiobook. I haven't listened to it, but like physically reading it, like the first chapter, I can't imagine that being pleasant in an audiobook scenario. So yeah, I'll have more thoughts on that next week. And today I finished Never Home Alone, and I need to start another audiobook, and my friends are all getting All Hail Chaos, and they love the book, and I'm like, I should listen to it before NetGalley takes away my audiobook, because they gave me an audiobook arc. And so I've been reading it, because I don't know if this is an Audible exclusive audiobook or not. I can't remember, because I bought the first one, but I don't know if I bought it because I just had Audible credits, or I bought it through Audible because I had to. Hard for me to remember, but I think I'm enjoying this one a lot more. I'm 20% of the way through, and I think I'm enjoying it more because I know what it is now. First time, when I read the first book, I wanted a romantasy, and it wasn't. Like, it's not. I don't read this series wanting a traditional romantasy time. Yeah, no, it's like if you took the romance out of Throne of Glass and like twisted it all on its head, sort of thing. Because it's that type of campy adventure, escapism fantasy, but it's portal fantasy because our main character ends up in here kind of warping the story along the way. And I think our main character is way less annoying in this book because now she is less fish out of water about it all and is a little more grounded. And I liked her when she was grounded. Like, I liked when I first met her, so I'm glad we're getting back to that. I still don't think it's going to be a series that, like, I adore, but I'm just glad I'm enjoying it more in the second book. It was easy to pick back up. Like, I think it's been a year and a half since I've read the first book, and like it wasn't hard to remember who's who and where we are at. So in that way, you know, a lot of these characters are memorable. It's not like everyone's the same. It's like I actually do remember where everyone was left off and who was with who and what situation we were in. That kind of did stay with me. Now, keep in mind, I have a fairly good memory, so this is not a good test case for everyone. It just means that if I don't remember these things, it's extra bad because I have a pretty good memory for these types of things. So I think those are all the things I'm reading, all the things I'm doing. I think my first primary thing that I want to be getting to is this, because I really want to know what happens. Like, I really want to know what happens, and yeah, I need to know. I need to know. Now, I did get 2 more acquisitions to the library. I just keep acquiring books, because that is who I am. I'm, like, staring at the other side of my room in front of me, being like, so how can I aesthetically and reasonably store books for myself? We'll see what I end up doing. Like, moving things around to just, like, maximize the amount of books that exist in this space. Well, like I said, I love Hexagon Books in Cleveland Heights. It's across from the Cedar Lee Theater, and we are going to be hosting a book club called Awards and Snubs. Basically it means I can read whatever I want. But we were just naturally gravitating towards books that were on a lot of awards lists, and he wanted like a title that might be more catching than just sci-fi fantasy book club. And the first one we're going to read for July is Death of the Author by Nnedi Okorafor. So I got my copy from the bookstore to read. Now, one thing that I dislike about this cover is this blue thing, but it redeems itself partially by it not actually being shorter. It's just like printed on, which honestly, I'll take that over the actual setback. And it does still have, so with the hardcover, the Naked has a like robot inset, and so it still like does that. So I think that's kind of cool. I'm really curious to read this, have my own opinions, especially with my track record with Nnedi Okorafor. And I think it'll also be a good, I think, hopefully, having not read it, it'll be a good book for people who maybe don't always read sci-fi fantasy, who are curious about what is popular. Like, I think this is palatable for a wide range of readers, hopefully. And I'm hoping it's going to be great for discussion. Like, that is the hope. And then I'm so excited for this. So Cadwell Turnbull, have an interview with him on the channel. I've talked about his books ad nauseum. I love his books so much. Like The Lesson, what's it called? No Gods, No Monsters, that whole series. And he has a short story collection coming out. And I have an e-arc already. And he messaged me being like, can I send you a physical arc? And I'm like, yes, please. And here it is, All the Hidden Places. And it's like a really high quality book. Like this, like I know it says not for sale arc, but this feels like probably what the physical book's going to look like. Blackstone Publishing. And yeah, I'm very excited for this. And I need to get, so this is like a big year for me in short story collections, which is why like I'm trying to be better about like maybe intentionally reading outside for a bit and reading some short stories more often in that way, to like have disconnect from phone time, and just like being outside just like is good for you, I feel, probably barring health issues that I don't have. I don't have allergies or asthma or any immunocompromising things. So outside is good for me. I should be out there more. Because we also have a Ken Liu collection coming out that I'm very excited for. And then I still want to get to the Thomas Ha collection. And then I still have Rebecca Campbell's collection. And then I have Tanadori Dew's collection. Like, I have a lot of really good short story collections. So I need, and that doesn't even include all the short stories we've been reading in Patreon for like award season and just like being up to date on magazine short stories. So I need to balance that part of my life more. But I'm feeling relatively energized because, like I said, I've been able to be more rested. Like, I'm still doing things. Like yesterday, I went to the NK Jemisin talk we had in Cleveland. She was at the Maltz Performing Arts Center. And I didn't know if there would be a signing. Like, it was unclear. I, like, bought the tickets months ago. Like, yeah, NK Jemisin's in Cleveland. Of course, I'm going to go see NK Jemisin. I took one of my friends, and we went, and she did a little talk. She read a story from How Long Till Black Future Month, or most of a story, and then she had questions and answering, and she's so smart, and like, oh. And then we wait in line to get a book signed, because they tell us that there's a book signing, and it's like, okay, cool, I brought my book. It's not worth, like, showing to you. It's on my shelf again. It's How Long Till Black Future Month, because I already have a signed copy of the 5th season, because I have over here the fancy cloth-bound editions. And so we're getting aligned, and we're just chatting, cause like, and it's getting to the point where like she was doing personalizations, but then we're at so far in the back of the line that it's going to stop, which is fine. Because luckily for me, I love when I can get a book signed by an author, because it like can like it's a memory of like, I met this person. So exciting. I don't really care what the words actually are. I'm more excited that I have this momentum of like, I met this person. So, and you know, I get up to her, and I'm like not eloquent at all. Like, I'm like trying to figure out how to say what I want to say, but there's not a lot of time, and I know she's tired, and she's getting ready to like open my book and sign it, and she looks up at me and she goes, "I've met you before." And I'm like, no. Like, I would remember that. I wish. You know, again, I'm still not being very eloquent, but I'm like shocked that she recognizes my face. And I did mention that I have a YouTube channel and that I've interviewed some people. So maybe those videos, like, I don't know what videos of mine NK Jemisin would stumble across and find interesting. I have no idea. To my knowledge, she has never watched a video, but obviously that's the only way I can think of how she knows my face. Regardless, having my favorite author of all time recognize me is like, I'm good. I'm set. I mean, she's still always going to be someone I would love to interview on the channel, and I doubt it'll ever happen. Because I think it would definitely be more beneficial for me than her, and I know she already has so many other videos on that like people pay for to watch her talk about her world building and stuff. But it was literally so amazing. Like, that happened like 24 hours ago, and I'm still so happy about it. So yeah, I'm slowly but surely meeting all of my favorite authors in some way. And I am tentatively, I do think I know who I am actually going to ask next for that author interview series. I'm going to keep it under wraps because I haven't even emailed that person yet. It's not NK Jemisin. Like, she did get asked the question of like, what are you working on? It's going to be a minute until we get another book. Let's just say that. Maybe we'll get a short story before another book. She is working on a book. In the meantime, I'm just going to keep rereading. And honestly, it was so hard to read all these things when like right now all I want to do is reread the 5th season. Or to pick up The Killing Moon, because I haven't reread The Killing Moon and The Shadowed Sun in a while. Just to reread How Long Till Black Future Month and just add it to my list of short stories. Like, I'm just... Ugh, she's so good. She's so good. Anyways, that's my Friday Reads update. Let me know what you're reading, doing, or watching. And if you just want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here. I do not know. We've talked about Cytonic and Arbor Reality. Trees. Yes, trees. And otherwise, like, if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.